People who have devoted their lives to animals say that wild animals are able to communicate and express their feelings without words. Hunters and foresters can tell many stories related to animals that vividly illustrate their unusual abilities. This story took place in Russia, in the Nizhny Novgorod region. In a rather large village, livestock began to go missing. Almost every day someone's calf or sheep would not return from grazing. There were many hunters among locals, and they all had guns. Appealing to a gamekeeper did not bring any result, so the men decided to deal with it on their own. People arranged a roundup of wolves. Almost all animals were exterminated, except for small wolves. They were just left in their holes. In the wild, any cubs are doomed to die. These cubs were destined to die from starvation or to perish in the teeth of other animals. One of the hunters told his wife how the hunt went, mentioning the cubs. The compassionate hostess persuaded her husband to go to the woods and bring the pups home to later place them among those wolfhounds who wanted to have them. The fate is also unenviable, but better than death by starvation in the cold woods. The man returned to the burrows, but found only one puppy at the old place. The others had simply disappeared. He took the gray baby and brought it home, where a large hunting dog named Max lived. The man had recently become a mother of many children and had no problem taking the baby under her care. The wolf cub grew up with the pups and copied their behavior. He was almost no different from his named siblings, also frolicking in the yard and had little fights with them. But time passed and the wolf breed began to come in through the guise of an unskinned puppy. Gray grew into a huge, muscular beast. Village dogs often howled in the yards, especially at night, but his voice made belated passers-by speed up their steps. Goosebumps involuntarily ran down the backs of those who heard it. The local dogs were afraid of the beast and tried to avoid his house. The wolf never ate livestock, for he was perfectly fed at home. The man accustomed the wild animal to eat what he got from the hunt. This went on until the next spring. One day Gray ran away and never came back. The family got used to the domestic wolf, but nature took its toll and they put up with it. They only hoped that he would not slaughter cattle and would not prey on the hunter. Their hopes were not realized. After a couple of years, the cattle disappearances resumed. The people blamed it on a wolf raised by a man. It could not go on like this, and the local hunters gathered again to hunt. The man also prepared himself for a fight. He had no choice. He decided to find his former pet on his own and solve the problem. The man and the dog spent the whole day in the woods looking for the predator, but their venture was unsuccessful. Already in the evening, Max began to worry and look around nervously. The man smelled trouble and drew his weapon. He did so in time and was surrounded by a gray pack. The forces were unequal. There were too many beasts, far more than the last time. The man prepared for the fight, but he no longer hoped to come out of it alive. Suddenly, there was a low whisper behind him, but the man looked behind him and saw his wolf. He was grinning at his wolf master, ready to fight. Beside him stood a young wolf and 3 cubs. The man realized he had a chance and his spirits brightened. The dog also felt supported and roared along with him. The wolves and the pack looked a little confused and hesitant. That second of indecision was enough to make the shot. The hunter unloaded his rifle into the leader. The she-wolf overcame her fear of the man and rushed into the fray after her male. Max kept up with them. Now there were 4 of them, and the moral advantage was on their side. The man turned from a victim to a stalker. The wolves fled in shame. They did not dare to continue the fight with a stronger opponent, left without a leader. The dog was glad to see his adopted son again, and the man realized that the gray was innocent of the missing cattle. The wolf approached them and showed his joy. He looked into the eyes of his former master, stood for a while, and disappeared into the woods. Their real family was waiting for him. After what had happened, the pack of wolves left the forest and the cattle stopped disappearing. The gray one no longer approached people, but his howl was often heard by the locals. Thus, the ferocious predator became a talisman for the people. He raised his own flock, but the animals never attacked domestic animals. In the harshest winters, the villagers would take the meat out to the forest to show their gratitude and feed the starving animals. Thus, in this village, peace was made between people and predators, which lasted for many years. This amazing story is proof of true loyalty, which is not subject to time and distance, even if its bearer is a predatory and ferocious beast. The wolf, which has accepted a man into its pack, will protect him at the cost of his life. Of course, this happens very rarely, and animal nature usually takes its course. But even 1 in a million cases shows that even animals are capable of real feeling. If you like this amazing story, put a like and share it with your friends.